All right, and I do apologize in advance. I do have a bacon reference, so I'm sorry. So I'm Steven, and bonus points if you can read that PowerShell, it actually works. So I'm talking about failing gloriously, but not in the same way. So when we talk about infrastructure automation, we often talk about MVP together with it. And I believe that we should be talking about vision and risk, not viability. Because I think that buy-in is crucial to success, and you get buy-in through vision. But let me explain. If I was to show you a picture of this, and you had never experienced bacon before, it's not going to do it. You take one look at this and think, no, I'm sorry. That's a solid pass on my part, man. But if I changed it up and I was like, hey, how about this? That accurately conveys the vision of what bacon can be. So much so that you can probably taste it right now. But herein lies the rub. How many of you would be willing to risk your jobs on being able to turn this handsome fella into the magnificent creation that is bacon? Most of us wouldn't. I think most organizations feel the same way when we talk about infrastructure automation. There's a lot of risk. But risk is unavoidable. It's built into everything. It's impossible to know all the different ways that things can go wrong or mistakes that can happen. And I know I've made the majority of the mistakes myself and I'm still doing it, right? But risks don't have to be a bad thing. The trick is knowing how risk fits into the equation. Because you see, the most difficult part about this is that the biggest unknown in that equation is you. This is what I've learned. The thing that prevents infrastructure automation from being successful is us. It's the people. It's our personal baggage, our past experience. It's not technology. For the time being, technology is not sentient. Technology is not what prevents us from implementing something or keeps us from being successful. A tech stack is not going to get mad at us if we don't call the next day, right? Technology is just an abstraction of the root problem. And you can start to see this before you even build a solution, even when you're talking about a problem statement. People tend to focus on a technology performing this way or not performing that way. Or you'll see a bunch of people getting into a room and saying, the time to delivery is too inconsistent for VMs. It's not a technology thing, right? The technology is just doing what it's told. It's an abstraction. But the reality is that these are things like a dependency on manual intervention or a lack of formalized process. Or as I'm sure John could school me, it's even farther and deeper than that. But these are hard questions to ask, and even harder still to hear the answer to. But I guarantee you, if you do not ask some intentional questions, you're going to crash and burn. But you're not the only piece in the puzzle. You're not going to implement infrastructure automation all by yourself. You need a team. So let me ask you this. Do you trust the people around you? Do they trust you? Do you know what their strengths are or their growth areas? Do you care about their success as much as your own? But I like to be actionable, so let's do this. Every single person on your team, including yourself, should be able to answer these questions. What are your growth areas? What are your technical strengths? And where are you going to need help? Because this is the root of the entire talk. To be able to take big risks, we need to know ourselves. We need to know that technology is just an extension of our personal biases, our passions, and our weaknesses. And are you going to be perfect? No, of course you're not. But if you know that mistakes don't define outcomes, you can be successful. And if you want infrastructure automation, you're going to have to take risks. But really, to know other people, you have to know yourself. And to know other people, we need to know more than just the technical about them. We need to know where they need help, where do they want to be lifted up. And you need to ask yourself and your team, if we fail, how are we going to lift each other up? And I guarantee you, if you fail after that, it will be a glorious failure.